Hey guys, today I'll be going for the Platinum Trophy for the Mortuary Assistant, a first-person horror game where you take on the role of an apprentice mortician working the night shift at, you guessed it, a mortuary. Your job involves preparing and embalming corpses while also dealing with paranormal events. The game combines simulation mechanics with horror elements, creating a tense and unsettling experience. This game started out kinda fun, but it didn't take long before it turned into one of my absolute least favorite grinds I've had to do for a game. We start the game as Rebecca Owens, a brand new assistant at the Riverfield Mortuary. On our first day, we are introduced to Dolph Lundgren, Raymond Delver, our new boss. He tells us we need to bring this old dead guy to cold storage and bring back a new body to work on. So we do as we're told and make it to the back of the mortuary where we see our first of many bodies, a really old wrinkly lady.
Sprint. Mole mole.
When we get her back to the embalming room, we start to learn the embalming process, which makes up about 90% of what we'll be doing during the entire playthrough. First, we have to grab a clipboard and inspect the body, jotting down any marks or blemishes that we see.
Yes, nice to mole you. Meet you. Nice to meet you, mole.
Then we take that information over to the computer and enter it into a database. Once everything is entered correctly, a sheet of paper will print out that we need to bring to the front room to file it. Once that's done, we have to wire her jaw shut, which we do by hammering needles into her gums and twisting them closed. Get used to this wonderful view because we will be seeing it a whole lot.
What times I gotta do this? So. Oh my gosh. Yeah, get your
There we go.
nasty teeth out of my face.
Up next is the eye caps, which are used to keep the eyes closed.
All right.
Then we have to mix all the embalming fluids into this big tank. There are 4 of them scattered around the room that you have to find, and it can get a little annoying because they are never in the same spot from shift to shift.
Sometimes we get chemicals that haven't been stored properly, and it can make them pop like that. Just keep doing
As I bumbled my way through the embalming fluids, Dolph Lundgren just stood there and stared at me like a creep.
Expendable. Is that right, Dolph?
I can't hold anything else.
Once we get the fluids mixed, it's time to cut a huge hole in her neck and stick some tubes in there that will cause all this blood to come pouring out, which looks really gross.
Engage pump and let the body drain.
Also, side note, I think Dolph Lundgren's possessed by an owl. After that's done, we remove the tubes and stick another huge needle into her belly to drain more fluid out of her.
Like taking a straw out of a McDonald's soda.
We're almost done, but now we have to clean the tank, and to do that we need to run all the way to the bathroom and grab the cleaning agent. Once we get the tank cleaned out, the last part of the embalming process is to rub her face with a wipe.
Got a little piece of dirt right there on your face. Whoa!
One body down, 99 more to go. Now that we're finally finished, Raymond tells us to go home, and that's when the first trophy of the game popped, My First Body, which is given for completing the tutorial.
First trophy on the journey.
And I guess I should mention now, before we get any farther, that for my own personal enjoyment, I try not to look at a game's trophy list immediately. That way my approach to the game isn't swayed one way or the other and the trophies can just come naturally. I know this isn't the most frugal way of trophy collecting, but whatever. Now it's time for our first solo night shift, and this is where the fun begins.
Oh, Jesus.
Right off the bat, we are startled by a dark hooded figure at the front door. It turns out to be Mr. Delvers. He calls us on the phone and drops a huge info bomb on us. He tells us that a demon has possessed one of the bodies in the mortuary, and that we have to figure out which one, find its name, and burn it. He instructs us to then open a strange looking cabinet in the corner that holds the tools we need to suss out the demon, which are the reagent, leading strips, and the mark. The reagent gets mixed in with the embalming fluid in the tank, the strips help you find the symbols that will identify the demon, and the mark goes on the corpse you think is possessed by the demon. Now that I'm done giving you the gist of how to play the game, it's time to start actually playing and getting spooked.
Smile like that, you freak.
Soon after starting on the first body of the night, some paranormal things start happening, which leads into the second trophy.
Why are you standing up?
Hello?
Jesus. Don't you do this to me, Jeremy. Don't you do this to me, Jeremy. Damn it, Jeremy. I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
The third trophy I achieved can be gotten at any time, really. All you have to do is press the turbo button on the computer.
One ran. Turbo! What is that? It does nothing.
A few minutes later, I got the fourth trophy, which you'll get for completing the first body of the main game.
Smiling, you freak. Flying solo. Complete your first body in the main game. Over there.
Things only get spookier as the night goes on. Oh god, he's gone. Damn zombie. Oh god. And then someone was nice enough to give me a call.
There we go.
Hello? I need to report a missing person. Sorry. Her name's Rebecca Owens. She's 14. She has a drug problem. I don't know. She was here at the house. Slit your wrist. I understand that. I need you to check them. All right. I'll keep an eye out. Thank you.
Those voices. Right after that lovely phone call, a major story event cutscene plays out that you will need for a later trophy. Am I like a zombie? My hands look white and ashy. Unfortunately/fortunately for me, I chose wrong on my first night and got possessed, which led to Mr. Delver locking me in a coffin, but in doing so I unlocked 2 more trophies. I don't know if I put the mark on there. I don't know how to do that.
Where am I? What happened? Let me go! Hey! What are you doing?
Sorry. This is the only way.
Wait, no, why are you doing this? Help me, please! Please, Raymond! Raymond! Seriously? Raymond? Why are you hiding? Don't be scared. Let me out, you shit! You fucking burn! You can never fix what you've done!
Let me in! Failed to banish. Ooh, we got 2. Become possessed for the first time. Cool. The next trophy that popped was Speedrun, which is given for completing the game really just a shift in under 45 minutes. Even though I technically failed and got possessed, I got this done in just over 3 minutes by putting a body into the furnace immediately. Speedrun. On my next shift, I was actually able to identify the correct demon and the body it was in, which gained me the I Survived trophy and gave me the ending 1 of 5, which is necessary for a later trophy. Oh.
There you go. Good.
Is it over?
Dolph?
Never over. But you survived.
Right at the start of the following shift, I picked up the red vase on the table and tossed it up in the air, and that rewarded me with the Throw the Vase trophy. And on the same shift, I went for the I Know You trophy, which can be gotten by successfully sussing out a demon without embalming all the bodies.
I know you. The game got involved in bodies. Yes. You are so possessed. That's not natural. You're right. I don't think you're supposed to do that. Alright. Bastard.
The next two trophies came from going down into the basement and then going into the storage room attached to it. We gain access to these by entering the code in the keypad in one of the cabinets, and also by grabbing the large old key in the bottom drawer under some rags.
Look at that. 6 feet under. Ooh.
In this side room is where we meet the freaky-eyed biatch Valerie, the source of the reagent. And let me tell you, she is not very nice. There is a third trophy to be had down here, but I missed it at this point, but I will come back later. Up next is another trophy that can be easily gotten, which is 10 out of 10 Immersion, which only requires you to flush the toilet.
10 out of 10 immersion. Would immerse again.
The next trophy I got had to do with one of the endings. Before I left the apartment to start the next shift, I grabbed the necklace out of the drawer. Then during the shift, a story scene played out that allowed me to put the necklace on my dead dad. That's pretty much all I had to do, and after burning the correct body, I got the closure trophy.
I love you.
Dad. I love you.
Peace. Next on the list had to do with the alternate embalming only game mode. This just makes the game a straight up embalming simulator. All I had to do for this one was to embalm a body in this mode. This won't be the last time we visit this game mode though, not by a long shot. Going back to the regular spooky game, I revisited the basement and achieved the breaking and entering trophy. In order to get this one, you have to input the passcode again to get the hatch key, and also make sure to put the fuse in the fuse box. Once I was down in the basement, all I had to do was grab the hammer off the desk and smack the box on the locked door.
I can't use that here.
Doing this allowed me to get another ending that rewarded me with yet another trophy. Now that I had access to the third room, I grabbed the bolt cutters and went back to talk to Valerie. Then I tried to cut the lock with said bolt cutters. But she told me to wait because it was too dangerous, and she also told me to take her mark and use it instead of the regular one.
You need to take this mark and burn it with the possessed body instead.
So I went back to work demon hunting upstairs, and after burning the correct body yet again, instead of a cutscene, it put me back in the mortuary. Now I could go back downstairs and cut the lock. and after a long cutscene, I got the House of Delver trophy.
Every second of another eternity of her suffering.
Good.
House of Delver.
After getting the House of Delver ending, there will be a note on the desk next to the computer with Rebecca's name on it. Just read it and the Unforgiven trophy will pop. Another simple trophy to get is I'm DJ Two Shades. For this one, all you have to do is sit and listen to the radio in Rebecca's apartment for a few minutes to let all the songs play. The host was giving me some serious Rick and Morty vibes.
Radio station, we're just gonna do the same thing over and over again. I'm gonna start saying the same stuff too. Cause it's just the same stuff. Over and over again. Here we go. Same song.
Now we're getting to the last few trophies of the game. The Mortician trophy requires you to get all the endings, and there are 6 total. I had gotten most of them through just natural gameplay, but the different endings are 1. Successfully burn the demon. 2. Successfully burn the demon 2 nights in a row. 3. Burn the wrong body. 4. Successfully burn the demon while finding out about Valerie in the basement. 5. Get the closure ending like before. And 6. The House of Delver ending.
Do it! Don't do it to me!
Rest.
Next up is all the pieces,
Who knows
which
what's
requires you
coming.
to see all the major story events. This one is a little luck based, but I ended up getting it after my 9th shift. Now it's time for one of the worst grinds I think I've ever endured for a trophy. Well, 2 trophies. Light 'em Up, which requires you to burn 50 bodies, and Well Preserved, which needs you to embalm 100 bodies. Up to this point, I had only burned 15 and embalmed 35. Luckily, I was able to use the embalming only mode, so the demons weren't distracting me, but I'm not kidding when I say this was torture. I literally did nothing but embalm bodies for over 3 hours straight. I even completed a full-length movie and still wasn't done by the time it ended. But after staring at all those dead bodies, it popped.
Finally.
The last 2 trophies that I needed for the platinum can only be achieved on your very first night, so I had to erase all the data I had gathered up to this point
All
so I
that.
could revisit it.
Gone.
Whatever.
The first of the 2 is the phone's dead.
Grab a
For
body.
this, all you have to do is try to use the phone in the embalming room after your
Screw
phone
this.
call with
I'm
Mr.
calling the
Delver
police.
ends.
Hey, the phone's dead.
Fact.
And lastly, No Way Out. To get this one, you need to wait until the first scare of the night and try to escape the mortuary.
No way out.
And there you have it, the platinum trophy for the Mortuary Assistant.
Master of the house. Unlock every trophy Mortuary Assistant. Finally.
Like I said at the beginning, this game started out pretty fun. The scares were good and the demons were pretty creepy. But my god, embalming 60 bodies straight was absolutely miserable, and I hope I never have to do it again. If you actually made it to the end, thank you so much for watching my very first Path to Platinum video. Now my overall platinum count is 122. If you liked it, or not, please leave some feedback. Any and all comments will be considered. Stay tuned for my next Path to Platinum.